Call this meeting to order. Welcome, everybody. Please join us with Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Do we have any additions to the agenda?
I do.
Thank you. We'd like to extend our condolences to the Skidnowski family and to the town. We lost Steve Skid. He's been on the Planning Commission, the Selectboard, and a lot of other commissions. He was a great asset to the town. Okay, open public comment for items not on the agenda. Please limit them to 3 minutes.
I'm here.
Yeah, we're just missing each other here.
Hi. I did send a letter to Shelley about the Conservation Commission's activities, and I don't know if she forwarded that on to you. May I speak about?
I don't know if I forwarded it.
Okay.
I probably would include that in the next meeting.
All right. Shall I make myself official? Okay. Norma Manning, Vernon Conservation Commission Chair. I just wanted to bring attention, not detention, to the select board that we have been working on possible rules for Lily Pond, trying to keep them very basic. So far we have carry in, carry out, no overnight parking, no campfires, dogs must be leashed, motorized vehicles permitted in parking area only, and a notice at the bottom saying, across the bottom saying Vermont law prohibits disturbance within 50 feet of wetlands. This has come about in part because there was a, I don't know what it called, a miscommunication or whatnot, but the area around the parking lot was brush hogged again. And we can't continue to have that happen because it's against state law to disturb the area within 50 feet. We do have a parking area that is grandfathered in, but the situation is that we have the vernal area and it's 50 feet from that wetland towards the parking lot, and then 50 feet from Lily Pond towards the parking lot. And so we had a letter from Rebecca Chalmers previously, years ago, given to the board stating that we couldn't brush hog or remove vegetation from the area because of the rare plants and wildlife there. Okay, and we also attended a training at the pond where it was stated that if we could allow native vegetation to come back in that area, it would keep the pond clean or make it clean again. So that's our reasoning behind that. As far as the other rules go, we have had a couple of issues with people actually parking in the water, which was weird, yes. And so our ultimate goal is to delineate the parking area, whether that looks like putting boulders around to keep people within an area to prevent the mud bogging and things like that have happened in the past. Of course, all of these rules would be subject to the approval of the select board because it is municipal property. We did reach out to the emergency fire department, ask them what their requirements would be should we put a boundary around the parking area. And they came back saying that, yeah, they'd like to talk about that, but they're really more interested, rather than having access for using their trucks to pump, they're more interested in putting in a dry fire hydrant, much like the one they put in down by Vermont Farm. We're not opposed to that, given the stipulation that it wouldn't be used to fill pools and things, but only be used for emergencies. And the reason why we would put that stipulation on there is because we have a report from the state biologist saying that we should limit the number of additional wells on the aquifer that feed into Lily Pond in order to sustain the pond.
I can tell you they don't pump water at ponds for pools. We only pull it out of the post office because it's clean.
Even better. But we did know there was a fire pond there and that they need to have access there, so I was covering all the bases with that. Thank you for that. We had a recommendation for the town regarding the ash tree inventory. And the recommendation is that the town go ahead and remove all ash trees within the right of way of the town and on town properties where they may impact buildings or pedestrians or cars. And the reason for that is the ash trees, as they die, become very expensive, first of all, to remove because they're extremely unpredictable in the way they come down and they're very dangerous. Unlike a beech tree, for example, which has more integrity as it dies and will not be pose that kind of danger. And we also recommended native trees to replace that. And I think that's all three.
Thank you very much. You've been very busy. Appreciate it. Anyone else? Okay, Treasurer's Quarterly Report.
Basically, I'm in the middle of being audited right now. Have to provide hundreds of pages, upload them to their cloud or whatever, and then they do most of the work off-site, and then they came down one day to spend with me and get more information. And now they've gone back to compile their report. So that's going on right now. And of course, we had the end of the quarter, which goes along with providing all the reports to the federal, state, Department of Labor, and everybody. But basically, what I wanted to touch on with you tonight was two things that are of a concern. One of them we've been discussing for a while, but I wanted to provide you with this. This is this is actually the last quarter statement I got from our investments. And if you look on the first,
Okay.
it shows what the investments were worth as of July 1st. And if you look at the last one, it says what they're worth now. And it's definitely less. However, our financial advisor is saying that's not accurate. That we have been earning interest and dividends, but they have not been reported to us. I asked the auditors how to handle this, and they said as long as I have this shown as a loss, I have to book it as a loss. We can't claim any of the interest. So I asked the financial advisor to provide me with correct. I said, I understand you have to have a column, but they have to have a column saying if you liquidate before maturity, this is what you would get. But we also should have a column that says this is what it's worth if you don't liquidate. This is your added interest and dividends. This is what it would be worth if you don't liquidate.
Right.
I'm not getting that. And as long as I'm not getting that,
You have to submit this.
and he's told a couple of people that, oh, there's plenty of money. And people are coming to me and I'm saying, I don't have proof of that.
Yeah.
I'm getting very frustrated. He came into my office and said he was not required to provide this to me. And I said, well, that's funny because where we have invested before, they didn't have a problem providing it. So now we're kind of at a standoff.
Madam Chair, how long have we been with him?
2017.
Okay.
So I don't know. I asked the auditors, I sent an email, said, can I show the interest and dividends myself if I can break it out myself? And they said no. Because it has to show what they're saying we have. Otherwise, my books are
Right,
not going to look
upside
right.
down.
So I'm in the process of still working with them and we're slowly getting things together. But I'm very concerned about that, and I'm really leaning towards saying, whatever the money is that's in that money market that's not been reported, I want it moved. And we'll do something else with it, because it's sitting there. And according to him, there's over $500,000
Right,
sitting there.
remember that from the last meeting.
So I'm very concerned about this. So I wanted to bring that to your all's attention. before,
I just had a question for
Go
the
ahead.
chair. I think we should bring him in. I
Yeah,
think
I
the
was gonna
select
say
board
that.
needs
he's
to bring
coming
him.
in the first meeting of December.
Because we've asked him over the last, when I was sitting as an interim, we're losing money. Why are we losing money? How is it possible for a municipality to lose money on farmer-related bonds? Okay, it just makes no sense, ag bonds. And he was saying, yep, we're losing it, that's the market, and we didn't hear anything ever of any interest earned being set in a separate account.
No.
So that's that's where it's going, in a whole separate account?
It's going
And you
into-
get no information about that account?
No, I don't get anything in my statement that he gives me.
So,
Every once in a while, he'll say, we've got some money that we can invest, and I'll be like, is that the money we were holding in case we needed it? And he'd be like, well, yeah, but if you want to invest it, you can. I'm like, well, we need to have that liquid money. I did not know that was that money.
well, if you don't know there's that money, you don't know there's that money.
But it doesn't look good because, but anyway. So I'm
Thank
very,
you for that.
very concerned about that. That's one of my top concerns. My other problem, I don't want to say problem. My other situation is, as you all recall, we decided to go with instead with gas cards, because we had to move it to go through payroll. And back in June, I sent paperwork to the fire chief. I said, all that this needs to be handed in to me. I have 16 people looking for the money, and only 4 people have provided the paperwork. And I have asked 4 or 5 times. And I'm almost at the point where I want to say, oh, then apparently you don't want it,
He's literally handed it to people that haven't filled it out yet. And it sits there on the table where everybody walks in and signs in, it's there. He's
I don't
mentioned
know
it at
if
every
during a
meeting since you
training,
gave
we
it
need to
him.
sit them down and say, okay, this is your homework, sit here and do your homework,
He's
fill
done
out your
that.
paperwork.
People don't show up most of the time, so
So I don't know what to do, but
I would refer them back to the chief.
W4s or
if anybody
W4s.
calls you, you need to refer back to the chief and don't.
well, they're not
Yes.
calling me. I have 4 people that's turned them in, but
So there's
it's,
people looking for their money though.
well, no, but it's supposed to be paid quarterly, and now we're halfway through the next quarter. And that doesn't look good either. It looks like we're not doing what we're supposed to. So I don't know if you want to say, hey, if you don't turn it in, you don't get it.
Well, obviously, they can't get it if
Well,
they don't turn it
but
in.
they
That's
can't turn
basically
it-
what he's told the people.
They
that
can't
have
turn
it.
it in a year from now and expect to get all
No.
the going backwards.
No, it has to stay current.
Right.
So, yeah, we, as a board, should give them a date that they need to do it by, or
it's forfeited.
that.
But I
anything in the
didn't
past
want
is
to,
in
I
the
didn't
past.
want to make that decision without asking the board if the board was on board with that.
I think we should. What's your date?
I would say, give them another week or 2 at the most.
How about December 1st?
December 1st, okay. Because I've already,
They only meet some times.
because I know Alex is trying, I do. He's as frustrated as I am. But I just don't know what to do. They can't wait forever and then decide that they want to get it.
So we put a date and then you're covered.
Okay. All right.
Good, yep.
All right. So that was the 2 major things, and then just the regular everyday stuff that's going on in my office, the regular everyday work, the audit and all that. So,
Thank
That's
you
it.
very much.
Excellent, thank you.
thank you.
Somebody's got it.
Do we need to make a motion, or?
Yeah, it would be good.
So I move that we set a deadline for the fire department personnel to fill out their paperwork by December 1st, or any past money does not count.
They'll be forfeited through the 3rd quarter.
Like you said.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Is there any further discussion? All those in favor, Michael?
Aye.
Randy?
Aye.
Tom?
Aye.
Aye. I'm aye. Motion's unanimous. Thank you very much. And thank you, Cindy. It's a lot of work.
I sent him an email.
Town admin report.
All right, I started composing the annual report in the town meeting warning. If anyone has any pictures they'd like to add to the annual report, please email them to me. I'd love to have some assortment of pictures to include if anyone has anything. The LP gas tanks were delivered last Wednesday, early. They will be installed and connected December 1st. There's a railroad crossing rehab on Newton Road. This road was closed this morning and will not be open again until Friday at 8 p.m. I was notified of this last Thursday, last minute. And so it hasn't come together smoothly, but I hope that they can stay on track and meet their deadline. And the remainder of the kitchen cabinets will be delivered on Tuesday for the kitchen rehab and the seniors. And that's all I have.
Is there any questions? Okay. Did you have your hand up? Okay. I saw it moving. Okay, approval of minutes?
I move that we approve the minutes of the regular select board meeting on Tuesday, October 3rd as written.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Michael?
Aye.
Brandon?
Aye.
Tom?
Aye.
Jean?
Aye.
I'm abstaining. Okay, October 17th minutes. Michael and Jean will have to abstain.
I move we accept the minutes as printed.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor signify, or any discussion? All those in favor, Michael?
Abstain.
Brandon?
Aye.
Tom?
Aye.
Jean?
Abstain.
And I'm an aye. Motion carries. Okay, warrant.
I move that we approve payment of the following warrant. 9T, accounts payable, $69,444.23. 42S payroll, $9,120.06. 43S payroll, $10,389. And 44S payroll, $9,634.91.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there discussion? All those in favor, Michael?
Aye.
Brandon?
Aye.
Tom?
Aye.
Aye.
And motion carries unanimously. Green Mountain Power easement. Do you all have a copy of it?
Yeah. Everything seems to be in proper order. Mr. Murphy has signed off. The map is clear. And I would move to grant the two easements as requested by Green Mountain Power.
Second.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor, Michael? Brandon?
Aye.
Aye.
Jean?
Aye.
And the motion carries. Could we have a motion to authorize the town administrator to sign for the town?
So moved.
Second.
All those, discussion? All those in favor, Michael?
Aye.
Brandon?
Aye.
Tom?
Aye.
Jean?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Thank you, Jay. Okay, cemetery deed, North Cemetery, lots 476 and 495, Mr. Town Clerk.
Good evening, Madam Chairman. I have two lots in North Cemetery to be sold to Lawrence W. Shippey Jr., Senior, excuse me, and I would request the board approve the deed and sign it this evening.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor, Michael?
Aye.
Brandon?
Aye.
Tom?
Aye.
Jean?
Aye.
I'm an aye, the motion carries.
And I'll pass.
Thank you, Tim.
Madam Chair,
Sir,
as it relates to BCTV, do I need to extract myself from the session or just not vote?
do you receive any monetary?
I do not, but family does.
Okay. I think you can still take part, but just.
Yeah, that's fine, thank you. Oh,
So we have a production contract from BCTV. Do you have a copy of it? Do we have a motion? For those watching, the cost is $2,400, payable in 2 payments. And for additional meetings, concrete would be 200 Canadian, in person 175, and editing and Zoom recordings is 75. What is your pleasure, Board?
Move that we sign the contract for fiscal year 25 with BCTV.
Is there a second?
Second.
Shall we authorize the administrator to sign?
Yes.
Shall we do
Yeah.
it? The others in favor? Arthur, Brandon?
Aye.
Tom?
Abstain.
Jim?
Aye.
I'm an aye, the motion carries, and we're gonna have Shelley do the signing of this. Carryover policy.
Signature stamp.
Yeah. Carryover policies.
Do we have anything on that?
We don't have a written policy, I don't believe.
Okay, we're going to table that. And have a written policy.
I don't think we have a written policy.
No,
We're gonna do
It's for
it.
discussion.
right, it was up for discussion.
We can discuss it, yeah.
I don't like carryovers.
I know you don't,
Oh.
that's what I told you to go.
I think, I sound like a broken record, but when the townspeople vote a budget, they vote a number for each of the departments to spend. If folks don't spend that during the course of the year, that doesn't mean they don't need the same amount the next year or more the next year. It's just that particular year they didn't need it. It shouldn't be carried over to augment the next year's budget. Or to, it's all accounting wizardry, I know, but I know that the highway department, there are certain rules within the highway department where they are allowed to carry it over. However, we can, carry it over and request that the public highway department, I'm gonna get it right someday, put that, he uses it, as he's told me, toward his drainage, all of the culverts that he needs to do. And maybe we can earmark it for that purpose. I don't know if the law allows that or not, but we can certainly suggest to him that's where we would like to see it go. But I would like to see a policy that unless something is encumbered and under contract, like with the seniors or maybe the rec department starting something a project in May that's gonna carry over to June or July. If there's a contract, that money's gonna carry over anyways. It gets encumbered. I just don't think departments should be able to carry over that money from a current year. If they're not gonna spend it, God bless them for being frugal. I understand that and we appreciate that. But it should be closed out at the end of the year to undesignated fund balance. And that gives you can use that money to offset the tax rate, you can use that, it's all a shell game, I guess, on how we account for it. But I don't think departments should be able to carry money over. I just don't. It's not what the townspeople vote for a budget.
So we very seldom, other than the highway department, which we do not have any control over, we very seldom allow a department to carry over money unless they have a specific reason, like we allowed the historians to because they were having issues with their roof or something.
Right, but they should have that shouldn't happen unless there's a contract in place.
I understand that, but that's why they have to come and ask, they have to ask, but they have to explain why.
And I may be the minority, it's just my opinion, I just don't think it's appropriate to carry money over from one year to the next because you haven't spent it.
Well, I agree, but I'm just trying to explain to you, usually we don't just willy-nilly let anybody carry money over there. And they
Well-
have to do it in writing and they have to have a reason, a specific reason.
So
but it's very seldom done.
like, what I'm hearing from you is just because there's a contract in place, that money should just be carrying on, but that's not how it really works,
No, they
right?
have to ask to carry it
When the
over.
book's closed, the book's closed.
They have to ask
So-
in writing to carry it over.
It should be encumbered.
It's not.
No. No.
Okay.
So it's basically you're getting the same results, but, you know, and I know like with the historians, there was issues with getting people to do the work and, you know, it dragged beyond our calendar dates that just didn't work for their project.
Right. But sometimes, and it's been 6 or 7 times since I've been on the board. The fire department asked, other departments have asked. It just, maybe it's just a thing with me. I've got a thing, if you're voted a budget, that's your line. If you don't spend your budget, it gets turned back in. And if you've got to wait a year to get it going, you know, or reestablish contract negotiations as of July 1, then that's what you have to do. But if it's not spent by June 30th, it needs to be turned back to the town.
But I'm still feeling like if you're in the middle of a project that has gone into our next fiscal year, because that's our calendar,
If there's,
technically, she can't pay that bill with the previous budget's money unless we authorize it. It's not gonna just carry and be available because there's a contract.
okay. There are accounting rules that allow for encumbrances. Not
Well-
just, you know, but that's fine. As long as there's a contract in place, I'm okay. But we couldn't get anybody to bid because everybody's so busy and we wanna carry this money over to the next year. Doesn't work for me. Just use next year's money.
True, if they don't have the work lined
And
up.
that's what happened with the historians. They didn't have a contract because they couldn't get anybody to give them a timetable. I want the work done. I'm not, I
Yeah.
think it's great. But use next year's money.
I just feel like now the unspent money from budgets does go into a fund that's available to offset taxes. Does that happen now?
It did last year.
Last year, but we went several years that wasn't happening, so you were repeatedly asking the taxpayers to raise that money again.
At a higher tax rate.
Yeah,
Maybe,
but
but so will the cost of the goods that you're procuring. It's just a bug with me.
Yeah.
And I just think it's not good municipal governance to allow money to be carried over from one year to the next.
Kevin?
Tom, I understand what you're saying. Back when I was maintenance foreman, it turned out that the North School needed a new roof. And I believe the budgets had already been submitted and everything else. So I had asked to carry the money over because had I used next year's budget, it would have completely wiped out that line item. But we couldn't let the roof go for another year. But it also didn't meet the emergency capital fund
Yeah.
price. So,
And that, and again, I'm a purist with this stuff. That's where a special town meeting is in order.
right.
well, that's quite costly.
Well, it costs you $1,000, you know, but, people should be appropriating money. The townspeople should appropriate money. And it's just a thing with me. And if people don't wanna do it that way, I'm okay with it, but I feel better that I said it for the 12th time.
Yeah, the police department, I used to turn, every year, just about I used to turn money back.
Yeah.
But I think it's important to realize, it may seem like it's been 6 or 8 times, but really it's only been a few times that I can think of. They may have asked for it, we may have said no. I know the fire department did, and the historians, and
Me.
well, that was a long time ago.
Folks, you can do, the board will decide what it wants to do, this is just my opinion
But they have
on
to ask
governance.
for it in writing by June 30th.
Right,
If July 1st comes and too bad.
it's gone. And, you know, like this way, we have that knowledge and we have that say on the situation and I'm happy with that.
Okay,
I think that maybe we're not using the kind of accounting method that you like.
well,
Or
it's
no?
not that I like, it's just that I'm really, when people vote a budget, they vote a budget for the year.
For sure.
I mean, we could be like the federal government where come the end of the year, they spend it all.
Yeah,
We see a bunch of crap running around this town.
I know.
We had someone that did that a while when I first was
Right.
here. He'd buy a bunch of supplies and
Yeah, at the end
everything
of the
and
year,
spend
yeah.
his money, oh yeah.
Federal government, that's how you have to every year.
Yeah, because you don't
That's when
know.
you see the tractor trailer pull on bins full of plasma TVs.
Yeah, that's just one person's view on things, that's all. I just don't like it.
No, I hear Tom. I think as much as we can do on the front end, it just feels really, it doesn't feel very proactive. It's an uncomfortable feeling when someone comes, can I have this money, and puts us in a real bad spot.
Well,
It's like, wait a minute, we've already had this budget. We already.
and I don't wanna pick on,
Governance.
Madam Chair, I don't wanna pick on the historians because they do such good work for us and they're nice people and they really do care. But the budget starts July 1. You've got 12 months to figure out what you're doing. And if you wait till March or April, and I'm not saying they did, but if you wait till March, April, or May to get it lined up to get done for July, you're gonna have a lot of difficulty with contractors always being so busy. And it takes some preparatory work of the departments and committees to understand that there are things from July to June. And if you get an appropriation in July, get on it if you got a project to do.
True.
Anything else?
Oh, glad.
But I think we ought to take a look at something that's written, so people will understand what the expectations are, even if it is with a contract that comes back to us because the year's running out and, you know, they weren't able to finish the work. But it's really, there's responsibility on our end and there's responsibility on the employees and the committees to follow their budget.
Maybe we could check with VCT, see if they have one.
Yeah, what about just a simple memo from
Yeah.
Shelley to department heads? Hey, you know, this is really how we'd like to see it done.
It should go to committees too. 'Cause,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. Let's move on to Guilford Country Store pay-as-you-throw bags. Cindy, do you want to speak to this?
I got an email from the owners of Guilford Country Store, and I had sent an email asking if they needed trash bags because I deliver them to them. And I was asked if they could charge, if there was anything in the law that said they couldn't charge a convenience fee for selling the bags. And I didn't know with the pay-as-you-throw program whether it was said, then no, you can't do that. So far, we found nothing to indicate that they can't. And I don't think we can tell them how to run their business. The only thing we can do is tell them no, and then they won't be selling them anymore.
How many do they sell?
What percentage of bags go through there?
They sell quite a few. They do.
Very convenient.
They sell probably, I would say the most, or at least the second to the most. And right now they have no bags over there. They've sold them all out. And they're waiting to hear. And Shelley has tried to get in touch with the town attorney to see if there's any legality issues. And I don't know if you've heard from him yet, but we can find nothing that states that they can't charge a fee. And if they do, I don't know what their fee would be, but if they do, then the people that are buying the bags, they may decide they're not gonna buy the bags from them anymore.
Well,
You know, so that falls on them,
that may change their business decision,
right?
because then they're not getting the walk-in traffic, they may pick up the coffee and the donut, or the sandwich, or the, you know.
Right, I agree.
And they do get
Which one?
$12.50 a case.
Hmm?
They do get $12.50 a case.
They do,
for selling.
whenever they get a case of bags, we rebate them back $12.50 for each case. So,
And how many in a case?
50. 50
So that's a
bags.
quarter a bag,
Oh,
yeah.
But that was set up way back when we first started
Mm.
actually it was because they wanted to offer some incentive to Guilford store to sell the bags for us. That was the original reason why that happened.
How long ago was that, do you know?
Oh, that was back when Michael Kudamash was on the board,
Wow, that was a while ago.
many moons ago.
That's when it, pretty much when it started, right?
Yeah, because he was the one that negotiated it with them.
Okay.
I also did reach out to Wyndham Solid Waste to see if they had heard of anybody doing this with the pay-as-you-throw bags, because they have a lot of connections with other towns, and they've never heard of such a thing. And they had no insight as to,
I did ask them, I said, is this just for like people that pay with credit card? You know, maybe you're trying to offset your cost. They said, no, every sale. And, you know, so,
And they didn't say what they wanted to charge.
no,
My son said, I don't think we should tell them what they can charge.
I don't think we can tell them how to run their business. I mean, unless there was a legal reason why they can't do it. Or unless you guys, you know, you feel like, you know, no, we don't want to do that, so they won't, then they just won't be selling the bags anymore.
Okay, board. Jean?
So has anybody, oh, Tim is gone. I just wondered if he'd heard people making comment that they couldn't get the bags over there anymore.
Well, Mary Lynn did tell me her bag sales have picked up since Guilford stopped.
Yeah, and, you know, we sell them in the library. We're here till 6 o'clock at night and Saturday mornings. Tim is there at the crack of dawn. You know, there's a lot of hours to buy bags other than Fridays.
But
And Sunday.
Mary Lynn.
What's that?
We've got
Yeah.
Mary Lynn.
Mary
Yeah.
Lynn on Friday.
And Sunday. Yeah.
And I'm there before the crack of dawn, so,
Yep.
you know, and I sell bags out of my office as well. Seth sells them through the rack.
So maybe we tell them. So, let's not sell them there and stick with Vernon businesses
Yep.
selling them.
Yeah, I mean, this is kind of a community service, and I'm sure that's
Yeah.
what a lot of the other retailers are doing that sell them.
It brings traffic in their stores too.
I agree with you, Tom, because I had a little business and we did anything we could to get people to walk in
Mhm.
because they may have come for the bags, but then they pick up this, that, oh yeah, I see that. And we did quite a bit of extra money, so I'm surprised they're even suggesting that. There can't be that much time involved in selling a bag of bags. I sold bags when I was volunteering at the town clerk's office for a couple years.
Yep.
Well-
And it's a minimal transaction.
And I bring the bags over to them when they need them. And so they don't have to worry about how to get them. You know, I contact them, find out how, you know, what they need. I bring it to them. I get the money from them. So really the only thing that's on them is to actually physically sell the bags.
Handle the money. That's it.
So should we send them a letter thanking them for the service they've given our town? That we don't see the feasibility of.
Oh, yeah, and that we'd like them to keep selling them as a community in the spirit of being, you know, a community or whatever, but
Community service.
but we don't support a convenience fee being placed on things that are bought with public money.
I know when I was maintenance foreman and I used to take the bags over, and if they didn't need any, I would still go over there. I'd inventory their bags and they would keep track of the bags that they sold. And then I would correlate their inventory with the bags that they sold, and then I'd have to add up all the money and all that good
Yeah.
stuff to make sure it all came out. And, you know, that was quite a bit of work for them. And
But this, they do it different now.
yeah, but I must, you know, back then, and I don't know who's employed over there still, but, you know, they were a joy to work with. And, you know, they were really supportive and everything else. And I'd hate to see, you know, I'd hate to see that, relationship between Vernon and Guilford go away,
Yeah.
but, you know, it's, you know, proverbial, you gotta do what you gotta do, and,
The owners of Vernon resident.
yeah.
I can see a 3.5% convenience fee if they're putting it on a debit or credit card, so that they're not paying
Right.
that fee, but, no, there's some community spirit here too as well, I guess.
So do we have a motion?
Well, Tom
Which time?
Ooh, that was a jab.
No, actually.
Ouch. Wow.
You're very eloquent.
Yeah, but I don't remember what I said.
I don't either.
All right. That the town thanks them very much for their willingness to sell the bags. We hope that they will continue to sell the bags as a community service. The town does not feel that it's appropriate to add a surcharge onto a municipal expenditure.
That's Michael's motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Good luck with that.
Any further discussion? All those in favor, Michael?
Aye.
Brandon?
Aye.
Tom?
Aye.
Jean?
Aye.
I'm an aye, motion carries. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Mm.
Ouch. We will need an executive session for the next item.
So, Madam Chair, I move we go enter into executive session under exception 7, contracts, and would ask that the town administrator stay with us during the meeting.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor, Michael? Brandon?
Aye.
Aye.
Jean? Thank you very much.
We still have budgets to get to.
We met in executive session from 7:12 to 7:18. It was not alone. And no action was taken.
Madam Chair,
Yes, sir.
I move that we extend or renew the contract with the town administrator from effective October 17th, retroactively to October 17th, 2023 through June 30th, 2028, with the provisions as depicted within the contract.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there discussion? All those in favor, Michael?
Aye.
Brandon?
Aye.
Tom?
Aye.
Jean?
Aye.
And aye. Do you have one we can sign, or do we need to come in to sign?
I don't think I have one for you to sign because I wasn't sure
Okay,
which
we'll
one
come
you
in,
signed.
Yeah.
we'll come in to sign it. So,
Just remind me
Treasurer will have
400
a
times
copy.
to come in to sign it.
okay,
Hey. Okay.
we're going to table the legal contract, and we're going to move into the budgets.
Sure. Lucky number 7.
The first one is the recreation department.
It is.
It is you, sir.
All right, how would you like to proceed with this? I imagine you guys are looking at a spreadsheet. You are. So would you like me to just highlight the changes and why there are changes, or?
That would be awesome.
All right, let's do that. All right, so there's significant changes. Our health insurance, obviously, a friendly dog.
I'm sorry.
You're all right. Health insurance is a significant change. That's about 12-1.
Hello?
There's $3,000 in seasonal staff increases. That's essentially minimum wage changes, or if they are returning staff, they receive an additional quarter an hour for returning to work with us the following summer. There is $5,600 in supplies increases, and again, that's mainly like cleaning and maintenance supplies, some day camp supplies, things like that, that costs have just continued to rise as they are across the board. There's an increase of $2,700 for repairs and maintenance, and that is primarily due to the deck seal around the pool edge that needs to be replaced on the pool deck, and then some monies to put into replacing some tennis court lights. Just the bulbs themselves, not a significant, huge project here, but
Are those LEDs in that?
they're not currently, no.
I wonder if the power company would switch them over for no fee.
For no fee?
Yeah.
That's a thing?
It's
So
a
you
thing.
get something for free?
Yeah. Check with maybe Efficiency Vermont too, if they do it
Yeah,
in
they-
cities and towns. The tennis court stuff, tennis court lights.
It would save you guys money, your electric bill.
Oh, I would imagine, yeah, those are pretty antiquated.
For one investment.
Yeah, those are antiquated for sure. Those are original from,
I've never seen them changed.
no.
Last century.
Yeah, exactly. There's a $2,900 decrease in programs, which is, we had been budgeting monies for an interpreter, which we have not used those funds for a sign interpreter. Not to say that we won't need to in the future. We have not used those for a couple of years, so we did remove those from the budget, at least in this proposed version right now. And that might be something that maybe we want to discuss more. It's just we had not used those funds in a couple of years, so that's why we removed them. If there a need arises, then we would certainly need to find the monies somewhere. Not that there's an ever-ending supply of money just sitting around, but just trying to be wise with how we approach it if we hadn't used it.
Madam Chair?
Sir,
You have a 50, after your income, after you deduct the income, you have a $56,000 increase in your proposed budget. Am I reading that right?
Not that I know of.
From
No, we have a $14,000 increase.
$423 to $447.
I'm not sure what you're looking at.
Last year's budget.
So you're looking at 441 to 423, correct?
447.7.
441,056,
441.56.
Yeah, it's the next page, Tom.
right here.
I did something,
Right, I'm looking
Ah.
at
Yeah.
okay.
that. Okay.
Yep.
And then if you deduct our income,
Get it now.
it's a $14,000 increase. So what we do is we take our income and we look at our projected revenue, which we've been using 190,000 as the figure for a couple of years. We're proposing that we increase that estimated revenue to 195. The actual has been over 2 for the last couple of years. So realistically, the 195 is reasonable and hopefully conservative. Correct. So really, when we highlight those differences or those increases and decreases in our accounts, the bottom line is a $14,313 increase.
Okay, I'm being thick, and I'm gonna ask the chair for her indulgence, please. I understand that. I see the 423 to the 441, that's the 17,000. Okay, but if I go down to the bottom where after you take your income, it goes from 196.
That's year to date.
Aha,
Yeah.
so it goes from one, all right, so
23.
The 196, 162 is the current year we're in, year to date.
So you have to go back a couple columns.
And even that's the actual from previous year. That's not even what our current year is that we're in. So I'm working off of the current budget that we're in. It's a $14,313 increase
over.
from the current fiscal year that we're working
Okay.
through. Yes.
So we're 23, okay. Okay.
Of that
I got it.
14, 12 of it is
Health insurance.
health insurance and minimum wage is
Yeah.
3,000, so there's,
There was a
Not a lot.
12.8 increase in health insurance this year?
I got the new figures and then you have to guess on the second 6 months of the year, so I do a 10%.
Okay,
I'd rather be over than
yeah.
Did you
under.
get any credit back last year?
So they only give you a 6-month
Like, their,
renewal?
their year is calendar, we are.
Calendar and you're in July, okay. But the benefit year starts January 1, right?
Right.
Okay, I got it, thank you.
and so one of the areas that we've also looked at is, obviously the people that utilize the programs the most should subsidize them the most. That's kind of how we look at things. And we haven't really had any increases in fees in our program fees in quite some time. So we've started to really look at those in minimal increases, not looking to like blow anybody out of the water. But if there hasn't been even a $5 increase in a registration program in 3 or 4 years, then maybe a $5 increase here and there in small amounts will hopefully add up to.
What about your
Little
pool
increase.
passes?
We'll discuss it.
Okay,
Yeah.
because those are really reasonable.
They are, and I think that's it's a balance. You know, where do you draw the line where it's not reasonable for people, and so you lose.
Right.
You lose folks. So we'll look at it.
Okay.
We're still very reasonable compared to other
Yeah.
local pools. There's no doubt about that. But we'll review it.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Do we have a fund? I'm sorry, Madam Chair.
Go ahead.
I keep questions keep. So let's say we have a family in town and the pool pass is $30. Okay. And they don't have $30. Is anyone ever turned away from using the pool because they don't have the money?
To my knowledge, I've never had anybody come to us and say, we can't afford it and it can't happen. There are some funds that we have that, some scholarship funds,
Okay.
and we have utilized that for things like that, or for someone to attend camp.
Trips and cabins.
Yep, yep. And one of those funds is the Lynn Peduzzi Scholarship Fund. It's been utilized by quite a few local families, so that's been a nice thing to have.
Good. Thank you for that.
Like I told Seth that anytime somebody kid can't do something, to call me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
me too. I can, yeah.
Yeah, we do our very best to have that not play a significant role. And if a child wants to do something, then we try to find a way to make it happen if we can.
Thank you, Seth.
Yep.
Okay.
Any further questions for Seth?
Thank you.
Seth, you do a great job. You're very much appreciated.
Thanks. We have a lot of folks that help us out, make what we do possible, so we appreciate them.
I just thought it was sweet, T-Mobile grant thing.
You did.
Might send you.
Yeah,
Okay, listers.
thanks, guys.
Good night, Seth. Happy hunting.
Thank you.
Hope you mess.
Okay. Okay, Shelley, you want to do the listers?
Okay, let's see.
Did Carol talk to you about it?
Yes.
Okay, she talked
Yep.
to me too.
Yeah, I talked to her, I told her that, yeah,
She asked me to lower her salary
yes.
line item.
Yes, she said that they have not been spending the full amount, they haven't been putting the hours, and so they have lowered it, and I asked her if she was comfortable with that, with concern with the new state laws that they're trying to impose on the assessment for utilities, and I don't know how that's gonna affect her, or if that's gonna make more work for her, but she felt comfortable with that figure. So that was the only change.
Go ahead.
No, I just don't like.
It doesn't change what she or any of them will be making per hour. It's just that they haven't, other than Carol herself, they're not putting in as many hours, so she feels as though it's been a few years that they haven't used anywhere near what.
Hate to see that.
Yeah. We appreciate that.
Okay, yeah, no,
Just
thank
fiscally
you.
responsible.
It is indeed.
Okay, seniors.
She gets a star from Tom.
Yes.
Do they get, but she will still, the listers will still get a 3% COLA as proposed?
Yeah.
If the board votes?
If they do.
Right, okay, thank you.
Okay, seniors?
For the seniors, I spoke with Ms. Cornell, and she asked me to just, use the same figures last year.
Okay, yeah, and I have, yeah, that's usually what I do here. But, yes, 2,550 is what we've had in the past, and that's what we want, what we would like.
And you can get all your programs done for that during the course of the year?
We can because we are flexible and, you know, we're doing various things, you know, if we get to a point where, gee, we're not going to be able to, maybe there are trips that we go on where sometimes we subsidize and we get to the point where, okay, that doesn't look like we should be doing that. We do stuff here, we do crafts, you know, so we're flexible. And we're old people, we've done this for years, so.
Okay, Town Hall?
We have a meeting with the, no, I can't remember the name of the committee, that's why I don't come to things that I, Capital Plan Committee. And we gave them all the information that they need regarding the 2 quotes for buses that they asked, well, I got one and then they asked for more and I could just get one more. And I gave them all that information. Gloria and I met with them and we told them that we see that in the budget this year, there's $10,000 supposed to be appropriated for that. But because the cost of the vans is gonna be higher, and we should have through the years been increasing the 10,000 to accommodate that. So we asked them to consider, based on the 2 quotes that I got, which were relatively the same. There was a couple $1,000s difference, but not that much. And to increase the amount of money. And the big thing is that both places said from the time we order it, it will be anywhere from 12 to 18 months before we receive it. And now with this strike that they have, it's going to be longer.
And if you wait too long, they're coming up with new engines and new
And there will be more money.
emissions, which are gonna cost a lot more.
It's gonna cost a lot more money, and that's what both of them said. So, we're waiting on what the capital plan wants to agree, but what we wanted to do is to be able to decide on a vendor and order, so it comes in time. And, we don't have exactly what Michael said, the increase.
That's good, but we're working on the budget.
Yes, but I'm just saying, the budget right now is $10,000 increase. But we, through the capital plan, asked them to increase it. But they're gonna meet
Capital
with
plan
us.
budget's different night.
It's
That's
different.
Yeah, it's different night.
This is
We're just the van
town
budget.
van.
This is the
Town van
Let's see.
budget.
That's the one
It's
they're doing.
$10,000, right, when I talk?
That's in the capital plan, this is not the capital
Oh,
plan.
this isn't it.
This is the
Where
budget
am I?
for the bus. This is
Driver.
for the driver, they did
The operator.
the driver, the FICA,
Okay.
Yes.
I don't know anything about that. I can't answer that. But I do know that we need another driver. I can tell you that because we have one driver now and she needs to have somebody that if she can't drive,
There you go.
that there's a substitute driver. So we do need to fund a substitute driver, but what the cost would be, I don't know. Nobody asked me to look at that.
Do you need a special license to drive that
Well,
currently?
if we get the new van, this van we do. This one, we'd have to pay for somebody to go and take a course and pass the course and get a
CDL.
special license. But the one that we wanna order is a 14 passenger. It has 2 seats of the 14 that can be converted to people in wheelchairs. It has a lift, so anybody that has difficulty getting in and out can get in and out, so it meets all the ADA compliance issues. So if kids are riding or adults are riding, it's ADA compliant. And it'll be gas powered and will not require a special license. But we also recommended to them that the drivers be limited. Just because all of us in here that have a driver's license could drive it, we shouldn't. Because we all drive differently. Some jackrabbit, some creep out, and you should have two consistent drivers that we have sent for drug testing, that we know that they would pass drug tests. We know that they have a physical, because our driver now has to do that. And that they're physically capable
You can still require DOT.
of doing that. So
Yeah.
that's all still required.
Okay.
And so just because anybody could drive it, it shouldn't be that way. We should have in writing that
Once
only
it
the
comes, we
people
should have a
that do that.
policy about it.
What's that?
Once you purchase it, we can write a policy for
That's a
it.
good idea to do that.
How much, I know this is capital, we're not there yet, but how much have you set aside in capital so far?
100,000.
110.
And how much is the van?
The van is, both of them, the most expensive one is $127,000, but that doesn't include trade-in. And I contacted both of the companies and they said that they would need pictures all around, inside and underneath, and all the records of maintenance. But that we could have a trade-in if it was worthy of a trade-in. And I think there's 98,000 on it right now, 97 something.
Miles?
Yeah.
I have no idea.
Yeah, I think it's 97 something miles. Let me look and see.
Yeah.
For diesel.
Yeah.
Right.
Is on it right now.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, when we, okay. One bus company was 123, the other one was 126. They take up to 18 months to receive. The prices they gave us are only good for the 30 days, which is now gone by. If we're not ordering this year, we should increase it at least by 5% or more. And I gave them an answer to the 2 questions they asked. Can ambulatory people use the lift? Yes. Will you be willing to give us a trade-in? Yes.
Thank you very much. Okay, moving on to buildings and grounds. Jill, are you doing this one too?
Yeah. I don't think I made any changes.
Just fuel oil. Custodial equipment were down, fuel oil went up.
Yeah, they said on the usage for town hall of pulling over 3 years, the electricity bills and the fuel oil.
Now, if that went to what's her face, she should have been discussing that with you.
I'm just looking to see if it changed.
That must be what she said there was no change.
I think there really might be changes.
Yeah.
But there won't be.
I had concern about equipment, but I guess our floor machines are in good condition and our custodian's been using them.
Okay,
And everything else is.
excellent, okay.
Maybe that's the subject of those.
That's a, yes, go ahead.
No, I just was thinking maybe we could put a bocce court on top. Right up front. Just
I hope you didn't have that on.
A little editing.
and he will.
Can I speak
Although it's
again?
a black screen right now.
Okay,
I haven't seen this budget thing. This must have gone to Mary Beth, which she is the treasurer. but, it only has for the one van driver, and we really need a backup van driver.
But they won't both be driving at the same time.
No, they won't be both driving at the same time.
Well, not at the same time, but if there's, depending on what the trip might be, if there, you know, if there's a distance, although at this point, we're trying not to go too far because of the bus. But, and we did have two drivers, but the main driver has now stepped back and she can occasionally do it, but she's not able to because of a number of reasons in her life, so, but we have, the backup driver has become the main driver.
Right.
And she does not necessarily want to drive as many hours and whatever else.
Right, but you're not gonna be paying two people to drive at the same time.
Right.
No,
Basically,
no.
job share.
It should work.
That should be fine.
okay.
Okay.
Excellent.
Does anybody have anything to come before this August meeting? Miss,
Just reminding the chair that Karen is something, so just remember. Itch.
Ryan, it's August and March. I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor, Michael?
Aye.
Vernon?
Bye.
Aye.
Thanks for your help.
Adjourned at 7:30.
Well done.